How many lovers have you made today? Chapter 12, Part 2. The darkness clings to her body and takes shape. Many of the creatures standing before the princess reel back as a being of pure corruption takes Luna's place, Nightmare Moon. Her smile is broad as her gaze sweeps over the group in front of her.
"Oh, a gift for me?"
she asks with a chortle.
"And here I thought you all forgot about me."
A few of the ponies take a step back out of fear, but realize that where Nightmare Moon stood, there was no one but them. Blossom shakes her head as she walks up to the three ponies before her. "You failed," she states. "I'll keep you three in the file if you wish to return when we open recruiting again." The three of them say nothing as they stand stock still, unsure what to say about what they just witnessed. Blossom knows all too well what they've seen, and even that pales in comparison to those that are still in there. Nightmare looks to the few remaining, her smile growing too large for her face.
"Come now, come forward and entertain me with your pitiful minds."
An eruption of darkness overwhelms those remaining as they plunge into their deepest nightmares. This is definitely what Nightmare needed to calm down after what she did to help that creature. Twilight kicks open the door to the throne room. While she was putting in the order for Anon and the princess, she heard from a passing maid that Cadence was taking questions for Daycourt, and a lot of ponies have been coming by for relationship advice. Twilight knows that things will probably be strained between her and Cadence, but she has to tell her about Anon and Celestia. Both Cadence and a random pony jump in shock as they turn around to see Twilight standing there, huffing heavily as she tries to catch her breath, but the uniform made that very difficult.
"Beat it!"
Twilight yells as she tosses the pony out a nearby window with her magic.
"Twilight, what in equestria are you doing?"
Cadence quickly casts a spell to catch the pony before he lands. She brought him back into the room, setting him where he stood.
"Emergency!"
Is Twilight's only reply. Cadence sighs as she looks to the pony shaking on his hooves.
"Terribly sorry. I have to take this, but feel free once I'm done to come back. We can continue where we left off."
The pony chuckles nervously as he glances at the deranged pony behind him.
Actually, I think life is too short to mope around about lost love. I'm going to give Twirl a try and not think about Blaze." "Well, if you... Oh."
The pony is already out the door before she can say anything more. Cadence looks to Twilight, narrowing her eyes.
"That was rude."
Twilight's ears pin back.
I know, but something huge has happened." "What is it?" I think Anon and the princess are dating."
Twilight exclaims.
"She had a horn ring on, and he was wearing her primary feather." "Oh? The primary feather is a nice touch." "I've known that for quite some time, how your mentor has felt about Anon. It's only recently that they've taken the first step into their relationship." "So... it's true?" "Yes, it's true. Don't make such a big fuss over it. They're both getting used to the idea and don't need any more pressure than they already have."
Twilight's gaze becomes vacant as she loses herself in thought. This wasn't something she anticipated, and now she's left to wonder how this affects her plans moving forward. Clearly, Anon will want to spend more time with the princess. Who wouldn't? She blushes. They'll probably date and do a lot of romantic things. She can't take that precious time away. Her eyes widen with a new purpose, a smile crawling onto her lips. This is certainly a way for her to become Anon's friend again. She doesn't know anything about romance, but she could possibly be a pony he confides in for advice concerning his relationship.
You're right, Cadence. A good friend would keep their distance."
Twilight turns around to leave.
"I have things to clean around the castle. I'll talk to you later."
Cadence can only watch Twilight run off. So many questions, but it's best to leave them for now. After all, she has many more ponies waiting for her.
"Next subject, please,"
Cadence says to the guard next to her. He nods as he walks to the center of the room, takes off his helmet, and idly kicks the floor. "So, there's this mare I like, but I always get nervous when she's around and end up acting like an idiot.
Oh, I see. Well, tell me everything about her, and then we'll come up with a plan. Lunch is ready.
Twilight sets the 2 plates she was carrying in front of her mentor and Anon.
Enjoy. Thank you, Twilight.
Celestia smiles warmly.
You look good in the uniform. I'm sure Feather Duster is treating you well.
Twilight nods.
Of course. I'm having a lot of fun working on my own. It's tough, but fulfilling. Good to hear.
Celestia looks over to Anon, who is already eating, trying his best to ignore Twilight.
Wouldn't you say she's doing a fine job?
Anon raises a brow as he looks from Tia to Twilight. With a roll of his eye, he sets his rib down. Then he cleans his hands and face before turning his attention to Twilight. You cringed when taking my order and serving me. I have no idea how long this'll last, but if you do that while serving a delegate, they'll consider that disrespectful. He gets up out of his chair and walks over to her. Your uniform is a size too small. I have no idea how ponies view clothing, but on my world, we call this promiscuous or overly sexualized. Anon reaches down and grabs the duster from her hip and examines it. You also failed to clear your duster before coming here. That's a high chance that there's dust or other dirt in our food.
Anon, no need to be overly critical.
Celestia reprimands. Oh, but he's not done yet, because despite Tia's words, he can see the negatives. I should also mention you smell like sweat, which I noticed from my seat. You're sweating now as we speak. Twilight takes a napkin from the table and quickly wipes her face. You also took a napkin from the princess. Twilight, shocked, throws it back onto the table. And you just tossed a dirty napkin at the princess.
You're being ridiculous now.
Celestia comments.
This is new to her.
One last point. Anon notices another scent mixed with the general musk. You went to talk with Cadence while on the clock. A big no-no. With that said, Anon walks back to his seat. There's a lot to improve on. Picking up a rib, he continues where he left off. Twilight is embarrassed to have been raised by Anon in front of her mentor, but she can't deny that everything he said is true. Celestia nervously smiles as she looks between Anon and Twilight. Their relationship is strained, but definitely better than it was. She rests a wing onto her student and gives her a small smile.
The fact that you've taken it onto yourself to improve is a great thing, Twilight. Thank you, Princess.
Twilight looks up to Anon.
I'll be sure to improve on my flaws.
He doesn't even acknowledge her as he eats in silence.
I must return to my work. Good day. Good day,
Celestia says. Anon keeps silence as Twilight leaves, only sighing once she's left the room. That pony. I swear.
I know this is old news to you, but I'm happy she's growing so quickly with your help. I can't help but praise her for the steps she's taken.
She's not a kid, Tia. She doesn't need constant praise for every little thing she does.
But I believe all good should be rewarded.
Celestia nuzzles Anon.
Hurry now. I want to spend some quality time in the garden with you. Tomorrow's the festival, and I'd like to relax as much as I can before then.
All right. Anon calms at the attention. I love you. Celestia smiles.
I love you too. I swear, this generation is far more soft than those of our time.
Nightmare gives a sigh of satisfaction. Her void is covered in blood, and various creatures shivering in place.
Putting that aside, I had fun.
The creatures slowly fade into nothing as the darkness pulls them into the floor. In their place, Luna rises up to face Nightmare.
Just as evil as I remember.
She sneers.
Prepare yourself for tonight, and dare not let what you've done today replay upon Anonymous.
Nightmare smirks.
Oh, I have bigger plans for him, Lulu. These wretched, pitiful things are nothing more than toys to relieve stress. But that stallion you cherish so much, I'll take special pleasure in corrupting him.
Luna wants nothing more than to strike this mare down for her toxic words, but she'll not play into her mind games.
He knows who to trust in the end,
Luna asserts.
You will return to being nothing more than a memory, for he will see your true colors, given time. On that day, I will relish in locking you into the void with nothing but darkness to greet you.
The smirk on Nightmare's face falls for a moment, only to be replaced with a vicious sneer.
On that day, I won't be the one falling into that pit.
Luna turns her back on Nightmare, summoning a door to leave.
There's nothing more to say. Keep your hopes to yourself. That is a warning.
Before stepping out, she looks over her withers.
A bit of news for you, Nightmare. My sister finally told Anon how she felt, and he's returned her affection. It's only a matter of time until I'm given that privilege.
With a chuckle, Luna walks out, leaving Nightmare by herself in the void.
Well, that's interesting.
Nightmare smirks.
Love and hate both stem from the flame of passion, dear Luna. And you, of all ponies, should know that flame needs a little encouragement to consume everything in its path.
She rests her head onto her hooves.
This shall be child's play.
There's no way Nightmare would ever harm Anon. He's the only one who gives her good attention. If she loses him, then, well, that sucks. Anywho, let's get on to our attentive donators. Top donators, Jessie, Smith, Star 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and IronSky. Matchbook 119, JockeTF, Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Sky, Sauce, and Rolan, Sharper Mordred, I called Never Inside the Night 52, Will Chris, Twinkie, Rise, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chance Request, Big Smoke Day 69, Bobcat GGF from Murder Princess J1101, Calidus, A Little Mighty, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.